Massachusetts, the state home to the smartest girls in the world and the birthplace of the American Revolution. Massachusetts is one of the northeastern states of the U.S. and is part of the New England region. The capital of this state is the historic and vibrant city of Boston, which is considered one of the most important cultural and educational cities in America. Massachusetts spans an area of about 27,000 square kilometers and, with a population of over 7 million people, is among the relatively populous states in the country. It borders the Atlantic Ocean to the east, New Hampshire and Vermont to the north, New York to the west, and the states of Rhode Island and Connecticut to the south. The name Massachusetts comes from a Native American word meaning near the Great Hills, referring to the areas around Boston. Massachusetts has played a key role in the political history of the U.S. and continues to be a center for innovation, education, healthcare, and culture nationwide. The largest public library in America is here. In the heart of Boston lies one of the true treasures of American culture and knowledge, the Boston Public Library. This was the first large public library in America, established in 1848, with one extraordinary feature. It allowed ordinary people to use it for free for the first time. Today, with over 23 million items, including books, maps, manuscripts, and digital resources, it's the second largest library in the U.S. after the Library of Congress, and holds the title of the first municipal library in the country. Its main reading room, with its high ceilings and natural light, is a paradise for book lovers. There's even a famous phrase engraved above its entrance: "Free to all," a sentence that reflects the philosophy of democratic knowledge in Massachusetts, the birthplace of the American Revolution. Massachusetts, especially the city of Boston, is practically the birthplace of the American Revolution. This is where the spark of independence from Britain ignited. When the British imposed heavy taxes on tea, paper, and stamps, the people of Boston grew fed up. In 1773, one of the most famous protests in history occurred, the Boston Tea Party, where angry citizens dumped British tea into the harbor. This act became a symbol of civil disobedience and was a major trigger for the Revolutionary War. Massachusetts was also the scene of the first battles of the Revolution, like the battles of Lexington and Concord, which gave rise to the famous phrase, "the shot heard round the world." The history of this state is deeply tied to the spirit of freedom and resistance. Massachusetts is the birthplace of the donut with a hole. If you thought a donut was just a delicious pastry, you should know that the story of the hole in the donut started in Massachusetts. According to legend, Hanson Gregory, a sea captain from Maine who lived in Massachusetts, made the first donut with a hole in 1847. The reason was simple. Back then, donuts often remained raw and doughy in the center, so this creative captain removed the middle part to ensure even cooking. This simple invention later became a symbol of American culture. Not only is Massachusetts the origin of the holed donut, but it's also the birthplace of the famous Dunkin' brand, which is older than Starbucks. Massachusetts students are among the smartest in the U.S. The education system in Massachusetts is one of the best in the entire U.S. and even the world. In almost every national ranking, the state usually holds the first or second place for quality in elementary and secondary education. Public schools in Massachusetts are well-funded and offer advanced programs, producing students who score high on standardized tests and shine in academic Olympiads. Beyond schools, the state is also home to world-renowned universities such as Harvard, MIT, Tufts, and Boston University, which ensure that the intellectual atmosphere is always active and highly competitive. In short, if you're looking for a place where knowledge and education truly matter, Massachusetts is definitely it. Massachusetts was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage. In 2004, Massachusetts made history by becoming the first U.S. state to legalize same-sex marriage. This decision followed the landmark ruling by the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court in the case of Goodridge versus Department of Public Health, which declared that banning same-sex marriage was unconstitutional under the state's constitution. This bold move paved the way for other states and marked the beginning of a wave of change across the U.S. Massachusetts showed that being a pioneer doesn't just mean leading in science and technology, but also in human rights. The Boston Marathon is the oldest annual marathon in the world. If you're a fan of sports and competition, you've surely heard of the Boston Marathon. This race is the oldest annual marathon in the world, first held in 1897, just a year after the first modern Olympic Games. Every year on the third Monday of April, known as Patriots' Day, thousands of runners from around the world come to Boston to participate in this historic event. The course is full of ups and downs, especially the infamous Heartbreak Hill, which makes the run extra challenging. The Boston Marathon isn't just a race, it's a tradition, a symbol of pride, and a powerful display of community spirit in Massachusetts. There's an island in Massachusetts that no one is allowed to enter. There's an island in Massachusetts called Long Island, part of the Boston Harbor Islands, with a restricted section that's completely off-limits. This area was once used to isolate people with contagious diseases like leprosy. Later, it became a shelter for the homeless and eventually a rehabilitation center. Today, some parts of the island are abandoned and entry is prohibited due to safety and historical reasons. With its eerie nature, deserted buildings, and hidden past, many people consider it one of Massachusetts's most mysterious places. But for now, you can only view it from afar. Massachusetts was the first state to implement public vaccination. In 1809, Massachusetts once again led the way, this time in public health. It became the first place in the U.S. to officially launch a public vaccination program. At the time, smallpox was one of the deadliest diseases, and vaccination was considered a revolutionary move. The Massachusetts government implemented a mass vaccination campaign, creating a model for the rest of the country, and even the world. This initiative laid the foundation for public health policies in America and showed that the state could play an active role in protecting its citizens' lives. The place where cinema was born. You might think Hollywood is the birthplace of cinema, but in reality, the first public movie screening in the U.S. happened in Massachusetts. In 1896, in Boston, people experienced watching a motion picture collectively for the first time. This exciting new experience, called moving pictures at the time, quickly caught on and opened the path for the establishment of cinemas across America. With that small first step, Massachusetts helped turn cinema into both an art form and a major industry in everyday life. America's first subway line was built in Boston. In 1897, Boston made history again, this time by opening the first underground subway system in the United States. Today it's called the MBTA, or simply the T, and it's still one of the main arteries of transportation in Boston. The idea was born out of the heavy street traffic back then, and it inspired other cities to develop their own subway systems. Boston subway became a model for New York, Chicago, and others. Interestingly, some of the original stations are still standing and retain their historic structure. Now that we've shared so much about Massachusetts, what do you think of this unique state and all its fascinating facts? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for supporting us by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to click on the next video and keep exploring more amazing content from our channel.